Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And as the discussion of rages on about the third game mode for this year's Call of Duty title, Scump has a few words to say about Patrol and why it may not be the mode that we are going to be seeing this year. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. Scump getting back on the content grind as of late, since I imagine getting back from LA and all the FaZe stuff they did over there. The return to vernacular methods, Slacked and Zuma. Pretty good time, top 5 5e squad, and we are 4, 3, 2 or 5, no doubt about it. But I wanted to mention this as well, that I'm pretty sure Slayer put together on the subreddit. I thought this is remarkable, really. This is the Reddit's top 30 player list from the Black Ops Cold War season. I was really impressed about, honestly, how good this list is. So the way it was done is that a load of people voted in this, and some of the kind of troll votes had to get taken out. But I'll try and make sure you guys can kind of see it on screen just about. But here we go. So top 30 players in Black Ops Cold War. So effectively, we've got a total scoring system here on the left, on the right-hand side of all the players, and then we've got best player votes to 2 to 10, and then 11 to 20, all that type of good stuff. So first of all, my question is, like, who's actually putting Simp in the 21 to 30 best players category? But, you know, fair play, each of their own, I suppose. But yeah, 390 people thought Simp was the best player, 231 thought aBeZy was the best player, and you can see the rest of the categories right here. So Simp, aBeZy, Cammy, Cellium, Insight. Honestly, I think that's a really good top 5. I think that probably should have been the Scuff team of the year, to be honest. Dashy found his way in there somewhere, even though, you know, the fans in this case honestly did a pretty good job. I'm very impressed by the impartiality, because generally we see a lot of like an OpTic skew on the subreddit. Like probably 70% of people on the subreddit would 60-70% from some of the polls I've seen recently are you know, consider themselves OpTic fans in some form or another. So really impressive to see, frankly, that even Scump, for example, here at 7th, I think that's pretty reasonable. Like probably he's still top 10, even though there's probably a few more best player votes than should necessarily be there for Scump, and there's probably some inflation going on. But still, Scump is very much in and around this ballpark of the 7 through 10 arena. I think that maybe like just behind Standy, but you know, in the conversation with Hydra and CleanX, given the performances that Scump had this year. So all things considered, I'm impressed by these rankings. Shotzzy in 6th. I thought that Bantz in 13th was kind of impressive. I thought that people would consider him a lot lower. I think that he definitely deserves to be right up there, and 13th is not bad at all. And then we've got Drazah here at 21, maybe somewhat underrated, but honestly, I think this list, all things considered, is pretty damn good. And Afro in 24th, for example, as well. So yeah, definitely intrigued to hear your perspective in the comment section below. But yeah, impressed by how the subreddit did on this, all things considered. And well, maybe the CDL has to take these types of things into account in future titles when they do their, well, best players of the year awards. This kind of format I thought was absolutely fantastic. So definitely interested to see how this develops over time. I'm sure we're going to see some of these players at the top here for, well, quite a long time to come, I would imagine, going into the future. So let's talk about the Vanguard Beta then. So these were the beta modes that we've seen the last couple of weeks, the whole Champion Hill type stuff we saw in the alpha, then TDM Domination Kill confirmed, and then, well, weekend 1 we saw Patrol, and then weekend 2 Search and Destroy comes in. Now this may well indicate, especially because Search and Destroy is certainly going to be a competitive mode, that Patrol is kind of, well, Sledgehammer's attempt this time around of introducing a new game mode that could work in the game. So of course Hardpoint we're expecting to be there, but I mean, then again, you're seeing Patrol Search and Destroy, you're not seeing Hardpoint Search and Destroy, so that was kind of the concern from Envoy a few days ago, but are they trying to replace Hardpoint here with this Patrol game mode, or what are they trying to do with it? But maybe they consider it to be a potential competitive game replacement for either the game 3 in terms of CTF control, because we haven't seen anything about control coming back to this title, we haven't seen anything about CTF as of yet, even though Hardpoint has kind of been hinted at, but maybe Patrol is their idea that's going to come into this title. And we saw Envoy a few days ago playing it, and I'm certainly having his questions, thinking, is this going to be what they tried to bring in for that third game mode? It's kind of an interesting one, right? Because the problem is with this game mode from my perspective is that the spawns seem like an absolute nightmare. It's a hardpoint, it's a small little hardpoint that just moves around the map. Having the spawns making sense for that has got to be an absolute disaster. I guess it takes the same route every single time, but even then, right, you get situations like this where the spawns are just absolute chaos, nobody knows what's going on, and it just must be so hard to deal with. At the same time, it's very similar to Hardpoint, and it's probably just as, if not more chaotic than a regular Hardpoint game mode, which makes me think it doesn't make too much sense for a third game mode, because you think that generally you want your first map, you know, the Hardpoint, to be the craziest, most fast-paced, then game 2 to be kind of slower, more methodical, and then game 3 to be a nice mix before you get back into a nice fourth map Hardpoint. But maybe they're thinking differently here. So these are some of the spawns that I've seen. This, for example, from Afro, as he says, you know, just like this Patrol mode, I've seen it spawns like these. So as you can see, like stuck in this corner right here, getting absolutely spawn trapped into brute oblivion with this, well, Patrol point moving through the map. So in certain situations, the spawns can be an absolute nightmare. I imagine if there's less players on the map 4v4, it's probably not so much of a big deal. But I mean, look at this type of stuff. Like, they have no idea where to spawn them, the poor spawn like algorithm or whatever, because like it just doesn't know. Okay, there's a hardpoint here. Like, what am I meant to do about it? It's moving so slowly. It must just be so hard to make this work. I'm sure the pros would have all sorts of complaints if this is arriving. And well, Scump certainly had a fair few words to say about it it today or yesterday at least on this OpTic Chicago. They do a fun little episode here where they play the Vanguard Beta, they play Patrol, and Scump's kind of talking about this game mode and why he does not think it's probably viable for, well, the third game mode going into Call of Duty Vanguard.
What is happening? I'm like so confused by this game mode.
He like flying right next to the door.
Yeah, I'm running a mile every storm.
No. Oh, I can't believe I killed him.
Dude, I don't know.
I might have hope in this game.
I'm like in the zone and it's moving.
that is the game for
Dude, but like it's so trolly. Like look at this. Look at my screen. Like it's so trolly. Yo, is this third game mode next year, Davis? I think so.
You think so?
No.
There's just...
Oh, I'm dead. I just got the worst timing. Wait, never mind. He's up. No! Wow, I overstepped.
Maybe I should go to the...
Oh my gosh.
So this is another example of those crazy spawn traps. 40 plus kills in 30 seconds, as you can see right here, in a pretty similar spot actually, maybe the same spot than what we looked at that clip with Afro, where the death machine is just raining down hell in these types of positions. So yes, in a 4 versus 4 environment, it's probably not going to be so much of a big deal, but Scump's like, look, at the end of the day, this game is just kind of weird, it's kind of trolly, like I'm sitting in this hardpoint that's moving around, but also very hard to make work, I imagine, for competitive play in a good sense, with the spawns obviously being a bit of a concern. So remarkable stuff, but we'll have to see how this develops going forwards and what Cellium will want to do this year, because, well, it's tough to tell that really until the game pretty much comes out what their ideas are. But of course, we have heard that well, the idea is that they're going to actually do some competitive support this year, which would be nice to see most certainly. This other was an interesting bit of, drama kind of beef really between Priestahh and Nameless, of course, former pro player, now doing a lot of stuff on the analyst side. Great work over there. Wish there was a way to see player versus player records easily with some kind of tool. Nameless is trying to say he has a positive win-loss against me back in pro play. He's saying he has at least 10-3 against me, says Priestahh, over history, right? So Nameless, of course, a great pro player in his day, but Priestahh's a 3-time world champion. I'd imagine maybe Priestahh comes out on top in their head-to-head, but Nameless is like, yeah, no, that's not the case. As Breaking would say, we're working on it, old man. Give us some time to put out the Cold War CDL player rankings first. We'll get to it at some point or another, old man, and I'm not even 30. And this then that Zemos tries to put together right to exactly what's going on. So Priestahh wins at these events. I mean, incredible work really going all the way back through the day. UMG Atlanta 2013, some generally legendary events, I'm sure, in here. And then Nameless one of these ones, and then Nameless comes out and says, look, this list is incorrect. I beat him at Season 2 playoffs in Advanced Warfare at X Games and like 4 times in Infinite Warfare. So pretty cool. Nameless is like, yep, no, look, that's not the case. In fact, it's not 10-8 between Priestahh and Nameless. In fact, it's a different record. I think they went over it themselves, but there's a continued right here. You've got to count all the LAN matches. We went in a call and just went over it. Solid list though. I think there's some league matches missing that, Nameless is saying that he won, and he's also saying that he beat me at the 2015 X Games, but I don't know. Like, he's still trying to say he beat me more than, at least the statistics point out at the present time. But this other was also kind of interesting as well, right? Former teammates, former world champions on the same roster, that being Priestahh and Arcitys, only counting events, new answers were faded, right? I'm genuinely curious. I feel like even the OpTic Gaming Dynasty guys, it's going to be super, super close between any pro player that really has a positive record over their career against Priestahh, and Arcitys is like, yeah, that may indeed well be the case. After last year, you've got to have a winning record versus me, right? I don't remember how many times we played back in Modern Warfare. We played once after London. I think it might be a good lead in Infinite Warfare. I remember we hard counted you guys, because right at the start of Infinite Warfare, Priestahh was on FaZe, and it was Arcitys and Gunless and Cole on the United squad, and then maybe they hard counted them for a little bit before Priestahh and Gunless actually made that trade towards the end of the season that caused some chaos really for the next couple of years after that. But yeah, maybe Priestahh's like, okay, yeah, look, fair enough, Arcitys, like, you probably got a positive record on me just about here, but I mean, look, who knows how things are going to change going forward. Hopefully Priestahh continues to compete for a very long time. I just wanted to finish off with this as well. So as DiamondCon say, well, he says right here, maybe indicating that he's not going to be on the starting roster for next year, as Parasite says in reply, what is good? How's the off-season at teammate? And maybe DiamondCon and Parasite are thinking about getting things going in the Challengers side for next year. But yeah, big question marks about this, right? What happens to the substitute rosters? Because I think that DiamondCon did a pretty good job. We saw right at the start, as you can see right here, DiamondCon get to 38 over the course of the season. But he was a pretty solid player at times. Of course, he didn't play for the entirety of the season, so it's somewhat tough to say. Also kind of remarkable to find Awakening down to at 31, given what a monster he was right at the start of the year. year. But yeah, tough to say right what happens to a guy like Diamondcon, because despite doing a great job, and to be fair, he got the chance to play at the Stage 5 Major, then got subbed out for the World Championship right after Clayson decided to come back, and yeah, maybe feel somewhat hard done by. But yeah, maybe he's looking at a challenger's route and hoping that maybe one of these rosters will consider bringing on him as a substitute once again, as Subliners did last year. I don't think they'll do it again this year. Who really knows what their thought process is? But yeah, a lot of players here to consider. Slasher at 30 and Formula at 29. The two kind of, well, old veterans going head-to-head for many a year. Kind of surprising to see them so down low this year. But of course, I guess Slasher's trying to jump the rankings next title. But Formula, of course, having retired, will not find himself on one of these lists anytime soon. But very much enjoyed to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. Really helps out the YouTube algorithm. I do enjoy this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well. And I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thanks for watching as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.